Having recently celebrated their 18th wedding anniversary, the King and Queen Consort will soon embark on what promises to be the most significant weekend of their marital life. More than 50 years in the making, theirs is a relationship that has undeniably survived the odds, but few could have imagined them ever being crowned side by side. Frequently crediting his darling wife for encouraging him and making him laugh, the King is fortunate to be embracing his destiny with the support of a woman whose unconditional love for him has stood the test of time. The Prince of Wales has been preparing to be king since he was about 5. A close friend of the couple previously said, "I am sure he will make a very good king, and one of the main reasons will be that Camilla will be there to support him every step." On April 9, 2005, Charles and Camilla wed in a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall. Immediately following their union, the Archbishop of Canterbury led a service of prayer and dedication at St George's Chapel, during which they recanted of their sins and received a marital blessing. Charles was the first member of the royal family to wed in a civil ceremony in England, but mindful of public opinion, it was deemed the sensible choice at the time. Subjected to unrelenting scrutiny and pressure, the couple had been globally criticised for years. Still, their marriage marked a turning point in what had been a long and painful road to wedded bliss. For the last 180 years, Britain's kings and queens have largely enjoyed happy unions. The only British monarch to mark diamond and platinum wedding anniversaries, the Queen celebrated 73 years of marriage to Prince Philip shortly before his death. Their unbreakable bond withstood many a storm, and their commitment to each other remained strong. Ahead of their wedding in November 1947, Prince Philip said, "I am sure that I do not deserve all the good things that have happened to me, to have fallen in love completely and unreservedly." Paying tribute to her husband on their golden wedding anniversary in 1997, the Queen said,
"He has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years."
The Queen's grandparents, King George V and Queen Mary, were equally devoted to each other, as were her parents, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. Though the former Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon turned down her husband's marriage proposals on 2 separate occasions, the couple shared 26 years together before the King's untimely death in 1952. Widowed far too young, she later wrote to a newly bereaved friend, "Grief doesn't get better, but one gets better at it." Queen Victoria was another who loved and lost too young. On the 10th of February 1840, exactly 165 years before news of Charles and Camilla's engagement was announced, the then 20-year-old Queen married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Describing their wedding as the happiest day of her life, she wrote in her journal, "I never spent such an evening. My dearest, dear Albert. His excessive love and affection gave me feelings of heavenly love and happiness I never could have hoped to have felt before. He clasped me in his arms and we kissed each other again and again. His beauty, his sweetness and gentleness. Really, how can I ever be thankful enough to have such a husband?" After welcoming 9 children together, Albert died in December 1861 at the age of 42. Devastated by his loss, Victoria entered a state of deep mourning and chose to wear black for the rest of her life. In 1863, Victoria and Albert's eldest son, Albert Edward, later King Edward VII, married Princess Alexandra of Denmark. He conducted a string of affairs throughout their marriage, including a dalliance with Alice Keppel, Camilla's great-grandmother. Aware of her husband's indiscretions, the Queen appeared to accept them, and she allowed Alice to visit him on his deathbed so they could say their goodbyes. Forgiving his infidelity, she said, "After all, he loved me the best." Married for 47 years, Edward died on May 6, 1910, 113 years to the day of the coronation of his great-great-grandson, King Charles III. Said to be the first consort crowned since Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who was anointed during the coronation of her husband, King George VI, on the 12th of May, 1937, Camilla will be the first of Aussie to be crowned Queen. Once considered unthinkable, few women have been as publicly vilified as the former Camilla Parker Bowles, the plan has been warmly received. Fiercely loyal to her husband and indeed the institution of monarchy, her keep calm and carry on approach has helped win over even her harshest critics. Still, it was the late Queen's public displays of support that represented the ultimate seal of approval. One of few to recognise her daughter-in-law's long-term potential, she used a statement released on the eve of her Platinum Jubilee in February 2022 to express her vision for the future. "I was blessed that in Prince Philip I had a partner willing to carry out the role of consort and unselfishly make the sacrifices that go with it," she said. "It is a role I saw my mother perform during my father's reign. When, in the fullness of time, my son Charles becomes king, I know you will give him and his wife Camilla the same support you have given me." More crucially, she added, "It is my sincere wish that when the time comes, Camilla will be known as Queen Consort." 7 months later, during his first televised address to the nation as king, Charles officially referred to his wife as Queen Consort for the first time.
"I count on the loving help of my darling wife, Camilla. In recognition of her own loyal public service since our marriage 17 years ago, she becomes my Queen Consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much."
The monarch's role is undoubtedly a lonely one, but Charles is fortunate to have found a consort willing to make the sacrifices necessary in order that their relationship should survive the demands of kingship. As a close friend of the pair previously said, "You must never forget, theirs is a real love match." Leaving him better equipped to cope with the obligations associated to his position, Charles and Camilla's solid union has arguably been instrumental to the king's success. Likewise, the unconditional love they share promises to benefit the institution of monarchy, which once again boasts a unified pair at the helm.